Hey there, I'm Smokin' Joe Lasher, and I'm excited because today I'm going to show you how to make my red wine beef stew. This is the perfect recipe for those cold winter months, and what makes it even better is I got all my ingredients in my local Ingles. So let's get started. And I said it once already, there's nothing better in a cold winter month than beef stew. So today what I've done is I've picked up about 3.5 pounds or 3 pounds of ground chuck at the Ingles meat department. I trimmed that, cut it into 1-inch cubes, okay? As you'll see on the ingredients list when you check the recipe, we did some bacon. So I've already done some bacon in this pan, about 8 ounces, and put it into the bowl. Then I took the cubed beef and coated with some salt and pepper and a little all-purpose flour to brown it in the same pan. And now we're gonna take that beef and put it in with the bacon. And I've chopped some onion, some celery, and some carrot, all typical ingredients for a great beef stew. And I have those diced and ready to go right into the same pan. So we're gonna take that hot pan that now has bacon grease, beef browned in it, and now we've got some vegetables in there, and we're just gonna toss those around. We're gonna let these soften up over a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna add some minced garlic to the mix. All right, so we've let these vegetables cook for a few minutes, maybe about 5 minutes. They're starting to soften up. The onions are becoming translucent. I'm gonna go ahead and add in a gourmet mix of mushrooms. And these mushrooms are available in the Ingles produce department, and they always have an awesome selection there. So I like to get what they call the gourmet pack. And I can't begin to tell you exactly what's in there today, but I like to put those in a few minutes later. And I'm gonna go ahead and put some garlic in as well. We're gonna call that about a tablespoon, maybe a little more. I like a lot of garlic. I'm gonna put that in, and I like to put the mushrooms in a little later because they cook quicker, and I want them to hold up in the stew because we're gonna put all this in the oven for a couple of hours. So we're gonna put them in and let them just start to soften up, get some of that heat, and let that garlic become aromatic, and then we're going to go to the next step. I mean, this smells amazing, that garlic. Those mushrooms have started to soften up just a little. And remember, the carrots are gonna be the hardest vegetable in there, but they're gonna soften over a couple of hours in the oven. So I do have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna dump that right in there. And you can see now on the bottom of this pan, there's all kinds of crust and stuff. We're gonna do what's called deglazing the pan. Now you can use a cognac or some kind of alcohol. Today I'm just gonna use water. We're gonna put that into the hot pan, and you'll see it starting to simmer a little bit. I'm just gonna scrape all that goodness off the bottom of it. You could add a little flour if you wanted to make a roux or something like that. But today we're just gonna scrape that off while we have our pan hot. Now, we're gonna take the rest of our ingredients. I've got in this, I have some tomato paste and some brown sugar. I'm gonna put that into the pan. And in those drippings, I'm just gonna kind of mix that all up here, like so. Then we're going to take a couple of cups of beef broth or stock, whichever one you'd like. And I've got some Laura Lynn here. 2 cups is gonna be about half of this container. So I'm gonna pour that in. I've already used some on a previous, so we're gonna just pour all of that in there. And then we're gonna come right behind that with 2 cups of a dry red wine. Now, this would be a this would be a beef bourguignon, which is basically the difference in French beef stew and regular, my grandma's country beef stew is the red wine. So that would make it a bourguignon. So if you go to a restaurant and you order that, you're basically getting a French beef stew is what that is. So we're gonna do a little mix on that. I've got my burner on high. We're gonna let this come to a boil and then cut the heat. We're gonna pour all these other ingredients back into it, cover it, and put it in the oven. So stay tuned for that goodness. All right, so here we are. We've brought this to a boil, and all that does is meld those flavors together. It gets that brown sugar completely melted into the rest of the mix. So we've turned the heat off. We still have it in the same pan. What I'm gonna do is get the right tool for the job. And we're just gonna take this mixture and put it down into here. So we've got our beef, we've got bacon, we've got our vegetables, we've got our garlic, mushrooms, all that goodness. And we just wanna carefully, oh man, if that doesn't scream winter wonders already, I don't know what will. So we're simply gonna put the lid onto this. We're gonna slide it into a 350-degree oven for 2 hours, but I want you to set your timer for 1.5 hours because we're gonna check that beef. And when it's fork tender, meaning you put a fork in there, it starts to fall apart, it's ready to pull out of there and serve. I've got one in the oven now, let's go get it. All right, here we are, folks. 2 hours later, we're gonna open this lid and look at that steam come right out of there. Boy, that smells delicious. I wish you could smell it. So all of those flavors have stewed together. We've got carrots, celery, mushrooms, onions, and a beautiful red. That sauce is cooked down, the wine is cooked out, all the alcohol is cooked out of it, but it's got that rich red flavor. I made some beautiful red skin mashed potatoes. You don't have to add any garlic or anything to those. What we're gonna do is just put a spoonful right over top of that. I mean, and again, if that just doesn't scream wintertime deliciousness, I do not know what does. Thanks for cooking along with me as we prepared the beef bourguignon or beef stew with red wine. I love this recipe and I hope you will too. Don't forget to check out the rest of their website where you can find hundreds of more delicious recipes, videos, and tips and tricks, and I'll see you there.